The Ice Ultra in particular is a unique race because it's one of the only cold races in the world that is a multi-day format, and it's mountainous. So it's not only a cold race where you get the challenges of the -20s, -30, -40 temperatures. You're actually going up into the mountains where you're facing huge crosswinds and the varying terrain. So there's no event like it in the world really, and you haven't got skis, you haven't got a pulk, you've got a bag, and you've got to carry it through soft snow with snowshoes. So there's that kind of logistical difference that separates it out.
So I need to tune into my English now. The Ice Ultra, it's a 230 kilometers multi-stage race, self-sufficient in Sweden, in the northern part of Sweden, and it's cold. It's really, really cold. It can get down to -40 degrees in Lapland. Yeah, and it's a 230 kilometers distance. That is long, that is very long, and you have 5 stages, so you have 5 days to do the 230 kilometers stage race. This is extreme. It's very, very cold, and potentially dangerous if you're not prepared for those conditions. So I was really lucky in my preparation here in Denmark. We don't have as cold temperatures as the northern part of Sweden, so I was really lucky to be able to do some of my training in a freezer where the temperature go down to -18 degrees and even -30 degrees. So it's a really cool opportunity to check how your body works in the cold, but also your gear. Everything is really hard with big gloves on. How do you take a hat on and off? And how do you grab your water bottles? And I found these handles are really nice because you can put your thumb in. See, just putting it back is really hard. And to unwrap stuff is also really hard. So you need to find a technique. See, I can't open it. Insulated hard bottles is the thing. I tried the soft bottles, insulated, but I had water all over, which I guess you don't want to have in -20. So it's really nice to test things and test the layers. So yeah, I'm really happy about being here. I'm really looking forward to this adventure. Tomorrow morning it will be around -20, but it will be a clear day. And I just there's so many unknowns in this adventure because I've never raced in these cold conditions before. But I feel well prepared, physically. My mind is, how can I say that? Good. I'm looking forward to race. I feel pretty focused. I'm happy with my gear. I'm down to 5.1 kilos without water and snowshoes in my bag, which I am really happy about. But I am concerned about a few things, especially the cold. What happens if it drops down to -40, or if the wind gets really bad? What if I get frostbites? So there are some concerns on this race, but I just really need to be sensible and take care of myself. But the cold and the wind is what I'm mainly concerned about. And the snowshoes. Like, I've not, we have become better friends during the 9 days I've been here in Sweden, but they are so hard to run with. Both because you like run differently than you used to, but also like I tend to get blisters really easy, and the snowshoes are not helping. So yeah, but I'm sure we will become best mates throughout the week.
We always say that there's a big difference between danger and risk. If this was a dangerous race, we wouldn't do it. There are obvious risks that we need to talk about. You've probably seen some of them as you've come in. It's pretty cold out. We're forecast tomorrow for -20, which is what we call the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold. Ground becomes a bit firmer. But as we start to climb, the forecasts become a bit useless. So I've been up in these mountains, and the forecast was glorious sunshine and -20 for the day. I was sat there with my shades on, having a good time clapping people through, and within an hour it was 35-mile-an-hour crosswinds, ripping the snow up with visibility no further than a metre in front of us in the final kind of climb. So it can change very, very quickly here. So every morning I'll give you a forecast for the day, but I'm also full of shit. Yeah. That's all you have to remember. I'll give you my best guess, but there's sections and pockets of this race where, as you can see, there's a lot of soft snow at the minute. All it takes is a bit of wind to whip that up, and that visibility is going to be poor. So.
I did a trail 15-mile mountain up in Faroe Islands last year, and it was just so funny because I did it with my cousin, and she likes.
What can I tell you about Kristina? I think when you first meet her, she's quite unassuming, actually. I think she's polite, she's kind, she's helpful, she's smiley, but she's definitely got this switch, and when that switch is made, she's a savage. She's an absolute savage. She switches from, being empathetic and kind to this athlete very quickly, and then could switch back. So it's very strange to see her, at first it's very surprising to see her just turn up at a race being one thing, and then turning the start line and being something completely different, and racing being something completely different. I think you pair those two characters with underlying resilience, and I think she's probably one of the most resilient athletes I've ever met.
That morning when I leave the cabin, it's on. Like, the race mode is on, and it's a fantastic feeling, like the anticipation in your body, like 1,000 thoughts in your mind, and all the preparation you've done, this is it. And to be around all the other participants and competitors, and to feel this level of excitement. People are nervous, people are looking forward to the race, but you just don't know what is going to happen. It's really hard to describe this feeling, but I love it. Like, I'm 100% focused on the race. Already a few minutes into the race, I start to feel the rhythm, and I feel really, really good. Like, my body feels good, my mind is clear, I know what I want, the legs are working, and I'm running pretty well on the snow. So I'm highly focused, and it's just me and the wilderness. first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on in. Bit warm in there.
Ah, it's beautiful.
It is.
Gorgeous, right? Yeah. Doing so well. Do you need anything at the time?
I need to drink something now. Is it just warm water so I can drink it?
We've got warm water ready. We've got cool water as well.
Yes.
I've got one in here. This is freezing. Get it warmed up.
Marzipan. Oh.
That's all there is to the top.
So hot is warmer than warm, so I can't drink this.
Do you take on these? Yeah, that's cool.
Can we just put some?
Yeah, we've got some cool.
Some cold.
Okay, I just need half a bottle. Thank you.
Half, yeah?
Yeah. I feel really, really good. It's beautiful. Day one, 52 kilometers was absolutely fantastic. It was so, so beautiful. Like everything was so clear, so pure. Like the surroundings was breathtaking. It was fantastic, and I managed to get to the first checkpoint as the first one overall, and I just felt really good. I'm just going up the last mountain, and for the first time I have my snowshoes on, but I think it's a good decision. I just feel like I'm moving so slow. That's the finish line.
Yeah. Where I'm stood.
Is it here?
Yep.
Ah. Yeah. I'm very happy. Oh my god. I love that. Yes! Those snowshoes are quite good.
Bet you needed those coming down through the trees and the forest and.
My grip was so good.
Yeah.
And I think the pace was alright as well. Oh my god, that was so much fun.
It's very different. Yeah, I mean that was one of the most enjoyable days I've ever had. The weather was perfect. It was tough, but it was great.
Each morning we get a race briefing from the race director, so we know what to expect from the course, and also if we need to make some last minute change to our strategy.
Listen up! If you haven't got your tracker yet, please do get it. We're going to be going in the next 5 minutes. If the temperature does drop, this fog can go into what's called freezing fog. And what happens there is it lies, it's obviously liquid, and it stays around there until it has something to stick to. You will be that thing that it sticks to as you travel through. So your jacket and everything will just ice up if it gets low enough, all right? So it can be, right now, minus 24. In stuff like that, it can get down to minus 40, and then you pop off the lake and it's back to minus 20. Just depends on how cold that is, all right? So just be wary of that. You'll know because it crystallizes and makes your nose all tingly and funny. It's quite a weird sensation, all right? So 4 checkpoints today, 8 kilometers pretty much between them. Total stage distance is 43. Just a marathon.
After crossing the lake, the very cold lake and the beautiful forest, we start the climb. And it's crystal clear, it's quiet, you can't hear any sound whatsoever except from your shoes and your feet taking every step on the snow. And it's just so calm, and everything just made sense for me. I was enjoying myself. I was enjoying the race, and I was really pushing it up on the mountain. But like, little did I know what was going to happen. It was silence before the storm. In a matter of minutes, the conditions became incredibly hard. Like, the weather closed in around me so quickly. The wind intensified, like howling fiercely, and the snow whipped through the air, pinching my face like 1,000 needles. I felt trapped. It was like nature itself was trying to test my will to carry on. But I knew I just had to carry on. I had to take one step and another step. It was crazy, and I didn't even have time to put my down jacket on. I didn't even have time to put on my extra gloves on, and it was freezing, like, and the wind was something I've never ever tried before. I just had to keep on moving, and I had to keep focus on the marks, the red crosses, which is actually only 10 meters apart, but it became really difficult to follow the marks. It became really difficult to keep focused in this really extreme weather. So, like, when I sit here afterwards and talk about this particular moment in the storm, should I have made a bigger effort to put on the jacket? Well, truth is, the wind was so crazy, I was afraid to lose the jacket. I was afraid to lose my gloves. I was afraid to lose like everything if I exposed it to the storm. So I wasn't able to put on more clothes. And the further we came up on the mountain, the more extreme the weather was. Like, what was the ground, the snow on the ground, what was like the sky, there was just like snow all over. And I remember at one point I met Björn, the photographer, and he was just stumbling all over with the camera, wanted to take the good shots. It's just an example of how extreme and crazy the weather was.
How was that mountain?
Fucking tough. Really tough. Where's the checkpoint?
I yelled at Björn like, "Where's the checkpoint? Where's the checkpoint? I need the checkpoint." And I knew from my watch that, it should be around now. And Björn like answered me back, they had to move the checkpoint because they couldn't get the tender. And I was like, what? I need the checkpoint. So like, I was desperate to get out of this extreme weather, to get away from the wind, to feel safe, to feel warm, but also to get something to drink, because my bottles were all frozen and I haven't been able to take in any energy because I couldn't unzip my pockets. So I was looking for that checkpoint, and if this continues, I will at some point be in trouble. And when I realized that, I got to think of all the other participants behind me in the exact same conditions, but they're slower than me. And I just, knew, all right, people on this mountain are in trouble. And when I finally reached the checkpoint, got inside, had a talk with the doctors and the crew, they told me that Bjørn, who's shooting this documentary, had to stay behind to help the other participants. And later that day, I also got the information that like a few of the other participants had to be evacuated down from the mountains.
I think when you're dealing with a storm like we did on Kabla, and in my mind at the time I'm having to process and risk assess, what are the front pack like? Kristina, who we knew was at the front, what is she experiencing and what will the people experience at the back? And you can be guided by some decisions thinking, well, these guys are experienced, but Kristina's racing hard. She's really pushing the boundaries and the edge of human performance in a really hostile environment. And when you're doing that, things happen in seconds. You can be fine to a life-critical condition in just the space of 10 minutes.
I started to reach like the little town where I knew the finish line was, but I just couldn't find the finish line, and it was really, really weird. And it turns out that BTU sent all their crew to the mountain to help people, and no one thought about setting up the finish line, which was frustrating for me at the moment. But when I found out what was going on afterwards, that was the right thing to do. So somehow I just managed to actually go out on day 3 and found out this is not right, and eventually I got to like the house, where the cabin where we all gathered, and I sat down, waited for the other participants, and then they came back one after one. And oh my God, people, you could see on their faces what they've been through. A few people had like some frostbites, and some people were in trouble. And every time the door went up, I was happy to see a new face, but I also became aware of, the people not showing up. And eventually I also got the message that 8 people were evacuated from Kabla that day. 8 people left the Ice Ultra that day.
Oh, that was insane. Yeah. I hallucinated that I was dead for a second. Oh, man. Oh my God. It was absolutely mental. This is my first stage race in the cold, and it's a whole different type of animal. Being out there, it's more mental than anything. Oh, that hill, man, it fucked me up.
Oh.
Oh.
Stage 3, let's do it. Pretty chilly this morning.
Listen up. Well done yesterday. Tough day. Conditions are going to be still today, by the looks of it. No wind forecast. You only need a little bit though on the lakes for it to start whipping snow up. It's -15 at the minute. It is forecast to get warm, however you're going to a place which is generally colder than everywhere they're forecasting, especially when you're on the large lake. So today you'll start on a lake, you'll be between lakes and forests, and then you'll do one large lake. The lake is actually about 18-19 mile long. You'll do 13 mile on it today, and then you'll start the day on a long day on it as well to run off. It shouldn't be a problem because it's been cold, but just to make you aware that on the lakes, surface water can be a thing. That's when, if there's been lots of snow or warmer weather, it pushes down on the ice, water comes up over the ice and can create anything up to about knee-deep water. If you go off the trail, you'll probably find it. It should be okay on the trail, but if you see water on the trail, i.e. our snow bikes have broken it, it is safe, but try and avoid it. You don't want to go in. for obvious reasons. Okay? So today's stage, the lakes. It's a marathon, and there's only 3 checkpoints today rather than the 4. The distances are 12, 10, 10, and 10. As you found yesterday, we might jig the checkpoints around dependent on weather and snow depth and stuff, so it isn't an exact science, but that's it. Everyone here is looking good.
Yeah! Woo! Looking good. Are you stopping for water? No?
Push on.
No, you sure we've got water? Just
Really,
right,
push
don't
on.
touch it. Okay, it's this way. No, it's up, I'm afraid.
No worries. Any idea how far ahead you are from there?
Oh, they're quite a long way back. Quite a long way back. I don't know how long, but I'm not even saying. They haven't been.
Stage 3, what can I say? First of all, maybe like the most beautiful stage I've ever done in a BTU race. Like the scenery, every time you looked up, you know, it's just breathtaking. And like, because of my overall lead, I was, you know, taking it easy today. I ran with Carl, which is in second place, and we just had a good time. So I feel really good about tomorrow. I feel fresh. I've not pushed it today. I was a bit tempted to push it, but I think it's a really wise decision for me to have an easy day today on day 3, because it's the long stage tomorrow. But this is incredible. And you know, when I reached the finish line here, I realized how much wind there is on this stage, but we had it as a tailwind. It's just lucky. That is just lucky. So I'm very, very happy about this stage.
Right, where's the finish?
Incredible. So beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah.
That's the best BT stage I've ever done. By a mile.
It was like so beautiful, so peaceful, so clear.
Conditions were perfect.
Yeah.
Right, let's get warm.
The long stage should have been today. Stage 4, the long one, 64k, and apparently it would be a bit like yesterday. It's quite warm, even though it's chilly right now, but I just hope the trail will be hard to run on and not slushy and soft. I can't wait. This is like, let's put this baby to bed, right?
Long stage, 64k. Arguably, you've done the hard work, to most. But today, you've got to make sure that you can get through this stage in decent fettle to finish tomorrow. There's a cut-off at checkpoint 5, which is 8 p.m. If you don't make that, you'll be classed as a short course finisher, so you get a medal but no official time. If you get past checkpoint 5 by 8 p.m, you'll be asked to proceed and go on to finish. Your distances today, there's 6 checkpoints in total. They're either 10 and change or just under 10, right up until checkpoint 5. So 50k, it's pretty much 10k distance for each one. Once you progress past checkpoint 5, the distances to the checkpoint to the finish will either be 6 and 9 or often 9 and 6. It'll depend where they set up. All right? So you can ask that when you get to checkpoint 5 what the distances are, and the Sami will know by then. It just depends on the split between the front and the back of the pack on where we set up. Everyone feeling ready?
Yep.
Okay. Time in checkpoints will be important today. They add up, but make sure you do go into the checkpoints. So, minus 14 at the minute. It should warm up to minus 10 by the end of today. That could change though. You're going quite a long way.
A good thing to start this early in the morning is you get to see the sunrise, and wow, it was something else. Like really, really beautiful, overwhelming, and like you almost forget you're part of an extreme ultra marathon. All you think of is the so beautiful surroundings.
Need water, Kristina? I'm good, thank you. Bye.
That's 20k. 20 and a half. It's just beautiful. But it's going to be brutal today. I do feel fresh, like I'm happy, I'm positive, but it's also a really long way to go. Like, I've divided the stage into a 20k warm-up, 20k race, and a 20k finish-ish. So, but I also want to stick with Carl.
So basically, the first 60 kilometers of day 4 went really well. Again, so beautiful. We crossed frozen lakes, forests. You see like the Christmas tree with the snow on. Awesome. So it all went really well until 5-6 kilometers before the finish line. I was running on a frozen lake, and suddenly it turned out to be something like yellow, brown, slushy ice. And suddenly, when I took a step, my foot and my leg fell through the ice. And in that second, I got really, really scared. Like 1,000 thoughts of what if I fall through the ice? What if I get trapped underneath the ice? That's like my biggest fear. How can I get up? But luckily, it was just my foot and my leg up towards the thigh. So I managed to pull my leg up, but it's a really big problem to get wet in minus 20 degrees. So I had to make the decision to, should I change socks? Should I put on some new trousers? And I knew I had a backup plan with an extra sock in a plastic bag in my bag, so I can actually put dry socks on and then a plastic bag and then in my wet shoes. But I actually decided not to, and I ran the last part with a really, wet foot.
I'm really happy. And I'm really freaking tired. Like, we fell in the lakes, I think 6k back. So I'm just like really cold, so I should get inside, but
The atmosphere that night was really, really nice. Just sitting and people coming in, they drink warm water, having their coffee. Yeah, that was really, really nice. And we all knew, finishing stage 4, the long run, you have completed the Ice Ultra. Stage 5, I had some problem with my right foot, but when the gun went off, I quickly forgot about my foot, and like everyone was just like sprinting off, including me.
We're at the finish line in Jokkmokk, 150 miles away from the mountain centre where these guys started a few days ago, and it's quite warm, -8 at the minute, but this is where they've been trying to make it to, the finish line here in the centre of Jokkmokk. And there's been a high attrition rate in this race, always going to happen when you've got a 230k race over 5 days through the Arctic Circle, and because the conditions on some of these days have been particularly brutal, it's been a real fight for the runners to get here this year. We've never had a female winner of a Beyond the Ultimate race. It is Kristina's for the taking now. She is less than 7k away. In her mind, she must be thinking this is in the bag and secure. And these last 7k she's pacing in, I know well enough to know that she's probably going to have a beaming smile on her face, because this has been on her mind for quite a while. And it's well deserved. She is an incredibly focused athlete. We get many of them here on these races. We get many different types of athlete across different spectrums of sport. Kristina really is that one separation apart of having that fine balance of a really tough, resilient mindset and the discipline to be able to train effectively and efficiently over long periods of time. The Ice Ultra really is a part race, part expedition. So to do these things, you're not just an ultra runner. You have to be exceptionally good at adventuring, dealing with the elements and thriving in them. And that's exactly what she's done. And we're pretty excited to welcome her to the finish line in the next couple of minutes.
Completing the Ice Ultra has just been an amazing experience. To be able to visit Lapland in this season of the year, has reminded me of some kind of a fairy tale, a snow fairy tale. And to meet the local crew, the Samis, to feel their hospitality, to feel how proud they are about the land and the nature, and how they are very open about telling their traditions and their stories. That has just been incredible. I felt very welcomed in Lapland. And again, to be a part of the BTU organization is really good. And this is why I keep coming back to participate in the Beyond the Ultimate races. Because they're really good at what they do. It's not just a race, it's also about the people, and they truly want every participant to finish the race and to have a good experience, but to also push their own limits. So it has been awesome. Det er lige før jeg er ked af, at det sluttede. Men jeg er også glad for at være i mål.
One of the best experiences of my life, if not the best. Truly awesome race. Loved every minute of it, even on Mount Kabla.
Do you know what? Yesterday, chasing him down was a great day, but today, just to sort of like stay on Jack's tail, it was just superb. So, I mean, this week has just been an absolute blast. Yeah, never forget it.